Live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's Nooganomics with David Tulis.
We are the dissenting media platform in Chattanooga, and I'm the editor of Nooganomics.com, the site that covers local economy and the free market, and our chief sponsor here of this segment at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We think that the main argument, the arguments of Janet Yellen, Grandma Yellen, and her pals is mistaken. She says that far is better than near, that big is better than small, and that complex is better than simple. And in the footnotes, which she straggles after her presumptions, she says that corporate is better than personal, and that abstract is better than physical. And yet, you, my listener, I think you've grown a little tired of this line of thinking, and you want to come back to local economy. You kind of want to come home to Chattanooga and to Hamilton County. And even if you, my listener, happen to be the trucker driving a double trailer down to Fort Lauderdale, you know that everything I say is not trademarked and perfectly applicable to you in your situation in your faraway place. But we are here Nooga-centric and trying to convey a general argument of the marketplace, and that is local economy and the free market, personal economics, and one way of increasing your personal reach in local economy and finding means of gaining traction in local economy is by the app, the application that is lodged on your smartphone, the new platform that is revolutionizing business and making, though it is a global part of a global system, if you will, the eternal, the non here, the I above all places, the placeless place of the internet and the network, it can be greatly useful here in local economy to make your dealings with your local customers spontaneous, quick, rational, and to help explain how that works and what he is doing in this field to serve you. My small business listener is Ryan McReynolds. He's the founder and CEO of RSM Apps, based here in Chattanooga, that has a sales staff of about 13. It's got 13 people in corporate. Development staff. He's got his CPO in Chicago, and folks spread all around the country providing a service. And we want to hear about how it can help you, especially if you, my listener, are starting off in business. Ryan, what is the problem that the small business owner faces? Tell us how uncertainty and you might say the digital world stacks up against him. How does he see his problems, and what are they? And then when we get through that list, what is it that you do to provide relief?
Absolutely. We have experienced several different things within the technology era that we're in. First is trying to overcome the objection of cost. Everyone thinks that engaging in technology is extremely expensive. And although it can be, depending upon what you're going for, there are a lot of things that can be done extremely affordably and very economically. The challenges that they're facing are startup costs. You're facing looking at trying to figure out how to take your business, get your customers engaged, which will obviously equal either return of investment or retention for those types of customers. For example, we can look at, the bar owner who is trying to sell, beer specials, using an application to send out push notifications to alert them to, say, a ladies' night, for example. You're able to take that and use that to drive traffic forward to increase your sales. Several other little tidbits about mobile is there are ways that you can connect mobile applications to websites and digital online marketing. Those will help draw your customers in and be able to move forward.
Explain what you just now said. I don't quite get what you said. Connect your mobile platforms with your website for digital marketing?
Absolutely.
Explain a little bit about what you mean by that.
What you have to understand is that it's not just one thing that's going to get you there. It's a combination of several things. One being a web presence. There are a lot of customers, when they go to acquire your services, they're finding you online. They're searching for you on the internet. Once they engage with you, A mobile application is actually designed specifically to retain those customers. So things like retention, giving them loyalty coupons or rewards, things like that that can be delivered to the intimacy of their smartphone. They carry it around with them at their convenience, and that is the secret sauce of today's world. The consumer wants to know what is convenient, and they want to be able to engage you on their own time frame.
Okay, so what you're saying now is this is the problem that my listener has. Is that
Absolutely.
right? Okay, so now RSM Apps, say something briefly about that, and then what is it you do to help the listener in his business enterprise?
Sure, absolutely. So RSM Apps is a digital marketing agency that develops mobile applications and social media marketing. We've recognized that the consumers are very heavily vetted and invested in social media as well as mobile. We know that these are where your customers are. So what we do is we specifically work individually with you to try to find a solution to take your business, put it in front of your customers, and then keep them coming back by utilizing these mobile tools.
So do you write apps? Is that what you do?
Yes, we actually can develop code, write code specifically for what we call custom native applications and functions. We also have the ability to design and develop and implement social media marketing strategies, creation of social media pages and profiles, integrating mobile applications with social media as one congruent system.
Example of let's figure out for a second what my listener is doing in his business. Tell what that business is, and then tell how your RSM apps would solve his problem. Can you tell us what you do in a specific example?
Sure, exactly. Okay, so let's take the restaurant. Let's take the owner of the restaurant. Typically, you've got three major issues confronting one major topic. Let's say to-go orders, for example. They usually run into scenarios like such. One, they have to call in if you're really busy. The consumer gets really aggravated because they're calling 4 or 5 times. By the time that they finally get somebody on the phone, they're manually taking that order, which leaves room for a lot of discrepancies, which leads to loss by the restaurant.
Because the person taking the details is in a hurry.
Absolutely.
Under a lot of pressure.
There's 50,000 things going on around
It's
them.
Noisy in the restaurant.
Absolutely.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, they're straining to try to hear the phone, and then trying to record that order, accurately. And so what our mobile applications do is you can actually order right through the phone as the consumer. You bypass having to try to sit there on hold or trying to call 4 or 5 times to get in. You just simply open your smartphone, go to that restaurant's app, order the products that you want in a basic style shopping cart, but it's integrated for mobile. And then that's where the power of the technology takes over. You actually go in, create your order, and then it prints in the line in the kitchen.
Does the listener have to have the app from that restaurant on his phone first to do that, or
yes,
or not?
Yes, they do. They do. That is the one thing that you will need to do, is to actually download the app for that specific restaurant. What we do is we try to tailor make every application that we develop to an individual business. For one, you get a lot of the, intimacy with the customer and that business. For example, like a restaurant like Blue Orleans, where you've got a cultural based business that people love to go and experience. Those types of restaurants are very keen on having those to-go orders, online call-ins, things like that, to where they're constantly needing that solution to engage with those customers. Because if you've ever been there, you know how busy they are.
So Blue Orleans engages RSM Apps to help with dealing with the customer who's maybe a new customer, but someone who at least has downloaded the app, has enough loyalty and interest in that business to download the Blue Orleans app. Well, how long does Blue Orleans need your services? What kind of engagement does your company have with a client?
Well, we actually are a full turnkey agency, which means that once we go through the concept of development and the creation, we actually stick with them from start until infinity, basically. I mean, we do not leave that customer. We work with them to try to figure out what makes them unique. We design products that are specifically geared to helping them with those unique needs. And then we stick with them through time to help them maximize ROI. And then we're always there.
What is ROI?
A return of investment.
Now, you don't write software that's rented, do you?
No, absolutely not. No, everything that we do, we actually develop specifically as a one-off for each individual customer. Whatever we develop is actually owned by the customer. The only thing that we actually retain is the proprietary use of the software coding that we are writing.
We'll talk about GPS in phones. How does that help in your work? Do your apps have, are they GPS necessary or GPS sensitive?
Absolutely, yes. GPS is an integral part of mobile applications and engagement with the users. So much so that the automotive industry is basically putting that in every single automobile. It's actually the exact same concept, just put in a mobile version for your business. You can get turn-by-turn directions to that specific business, but you can also create, for example, an offer. If you want to run a special or a promotion, you can send out what's called a push notification, which if you've ever had Facebook on your phone or you're engaging with it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When your phone beeps or vibrates and you get that little red circle over the top corner with a number, that indicates that you've received a push notification. The nice thing about the push notification that is revolutionizing the way that businesses are conducting activities with their customers and engaging them are the push notifications actually do not go away. Once they are sent, the consumer will be able to access that information at their convenience.
How does RSM help local economy players compete against national economy players? Ryan McReynolds.
We do several different things that allow you to do this. One is we tailor make a specific strategy specifically designed for your business. National, everyone is thinking it's very difficult to compete with them because of the budgeting that you have to start with. This is actually not true anymore, thanks to mobile technology. For example, you can deploy and develop a smartphone application that is in the app stores, Android, Apple, and Windows, for around $2,000 versus the corporate giants that are spending $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 for the same type of technology. We have figured out a way to condense those costs and really streamline the process to where everyone can be engaged.
So I think the listener needs to understand that you, Ryan McReynolds, are not just an app. You're not just a technology business. You help that relationship that my listener and his business has with his customer. So that's marketing. It's not just technology. It's who those people are, how they find out what their needs are, the customer's needs, what that customer's habits are, how he can be induced to come or to come sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the biggest challenge that's actually faced with technology today is business owners that either try to do it themselves and they don't really understand, the actual economics behind what they're doing or the strategy behind what they need in order to actually get that business going. That's where we really shine, is we're a marketing company actually at heart.
Well, tell my listener about, let's say, a tavern. A tavern, describe, if you would, what a tavern owner would do who's not thinking in terms of mobile apps versus the one who, say, maybe engages RSM apps for its services.
Sure. Typically, the way that we've conducted marketing in business in the past, you would go out, you would do print advertisement, you would have flyers, you would try to go and do radio, potentially looking at trying to get your name out there to run, promotions, specials, ladies' night, things like that, to engage your audience. That is still a very viable part of business. But the consumer has moved on. They're listening to radio, they're watching TV, but they're doing it from their smartphones. So being able to put your business in an intimate setting with that customer on their phone, I know it sounds crazy, but that's the one thing that I know that people take with them to the restroom. It's the one thing I know that people take with them to bed at night. It is literally everywhere that you go. And so that is what we do, is we help business owners take their business, their product, and put it into their pockets of the customers.
This is David Tulis. We're talking with Ryan McReynolds, who's the founder and the CEO of RSM Apps based here in Chattanooga. We are at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, and we're streaming live on YouTube at the Hot News Talk Radio channel. And you can find out all about us on our shows on your smartphone through the TuneIn Radio app. Just select Hot News Talk Radio, and there we are. We're suggesting that we love our neighbors and buy local, and we're seeing how smartphones and the web are very much able to help you in your local-centric thinking of your market and your economy. Though no doubt you want to have buyers from Thailand. You, my listener, are counting on the man in the next cubicle in your office to shop with you or to shop at your business. Let's talk about businesses that are not public, so public as taverns and restaurants. What about someone who's developing a product at home? How with his wife?
Sure.
How can you help a little business based in the garage?
Well, several different ways. One is going to be trying to figure out exactly what those target consumers are. The misconception is you have to have an abundance of capital in order to start something. Those of you who are starting businesses in your garage realize that there's actually maybe another avenue. You can maybe do this a little bit more affordably. The way that you do that is you engage your audience through social media and through mobile applications. Constructing a basic, simple website, something of that nature, connecting it to a mobile app for retention to keep them coming back. But the biggest name of the game is you have to figure out a way to make your services convenient for them. Not trying to catch them when you want them, trying to catch them when they have the time to engage.
Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Well, think of it almost like television. You as, an advertiser, if you're trying to advertise your product on television, you have a wide berth of a target window to try to catch that one customer. If you're looking at 10% of 1,000 people, so let's say that you're trying to target 100 people to come in as a potential lead to buy your product. You have a very specific window in which to catch them by using traditional advertising and methods. The mobile app, where that solves that unique problem, is you are not relying on their schedule to catch them. You are actually putting your product on their phone, but you're making it convenient so that they can receive your notifications, receive your alerts on their own time frame. You might send it out at 9 in the morning. It might be 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night by the time that you come through and they purchase your product. But that's the power of mobile, is that it's putting it at their convenience.
Is there a danger of having phones that are overcharged with apps and just cluttered?
That is a very common problem that we have today. We are flooded with apps and inundated with new ideas that are coming from the App Store, utilities and tools that they've come out with that make our lives easier. And, businesses are competing absolutely for space on their consumer cell phones. But that's where you bridge the gap there is you have to engage with the company like mine that knows exactly what works. We know exactly how to design your business to be simple, easy to use, and accessible by the customer. Those are the three main, I would say, stars as far as a focal point of what you need for success.
And point to remember is that when Ryan McReynolds of RSM is legging it, when he's walking about, his shoe soles are on Main Street, on Broad Street, over in a parking lot in Ottawa. He's at a business in Saudi Daisy. His feet are on the ground. And that's the advantage of a local provider. Does it really matter in the digital age, Ryan McReynolds, that the people providing digital services are local, or does that really not matter?
That depends on your view. I would tell you that it does matter because we are having to, work right now. Let's say, for example, that I'm a small business owner and I decide that I want to, buy a product for somebody across the country. Are their services sound? Yes, they are very sound. The problem is that they don't understand your marketing audience. They don't understand the small business owner that purchases from you. They don't have that intimate relationship. Whereas we, being local, we are 5 minutes away. We're 10 minutes away.
And you make inquiries in a way that a person in San Francisco could not.
Absolutely.
Even though he has a phone, people have phone numbers and they can be called, but you being local with your feet on the ground here can make an inquiry in really a different manner.
Absolutely. I was born and raised here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I understand the local marketplace. I've been in business myself here for over a decade. Been working in the trenches with multiple different types of verticals and industries. I understand what goes on, who the types of audience members are, what the community looks like, and what the landscape is. So I understand, the eclectic challenges that we are faced as a community when we're trying to launch a small business in Chattanooga.
How can my listener, Ryan McReynolds of RSM Apps, contact you?
We have a website. It's rsmapps.com. You can also call us at 423-280-1813.
Ryan, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ryan McReynolds is your man, very possibly, to get your business with an app and to have a more fluid, more facile, more friendly connection with your customers by his smartphone. This is David Tulis. We're suggesting loving your neighbor and buying local.